Alright, y'all. Figured I'd jump on here and babble a little bit about the VEEP-STAKES. Because it's top of the agenda for the Democrats, and Kamala Harris should be announcing who she's going to select as early as tomorrow, Tuesday. So I want to talk about who it looks like it will probably be. We've probably narrowed it down to 2 people, although I will put in the caveat that nobody really knows because it is politics and weird stuff happens all the time. The good news is it can't be any worse than J.D. Vance for Trump and the Republicans. What a fucking disaster that's been. J.D. Vance is like the only person in the past like 40 years or something like that is his favorability rating as a vice presidential pick is underwater, and he's actually like dragging down the ticket. I think he's 6 points underwater, and most are like 19 points above water or something like that. Anyway, so got an idea of who the Democrats and who Kamala Harris is going to actually pick for VP, who it looks like it's going to be. But we're going to talk about the 2 top contenders and who I would want, and we'll kind of discuss good and bad of both. So do me a huge favor, trying to get this channel off the ground. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like watching me babble in the car while I'm on my way to appointments. But so there were a bunch of people that were being considered originally. I think we saw Mark Kelly from Arizona no longer really in consideration. Our governor here, Roy Cooper, was like top of the betting markets, I believe, but it doesn't look like it's going to be him anymore. Andy Beshear, Gretchen Whitmer, a couple of other people, but it looks like it's down to Tim Walz and Josh Shapiro. So Tim Walz is governor of Minnesota, and man, he actually, that would be my pick for a number of reasons. First of all, my wife's from Minnesota, got family that lives up in Minnesota, so I'm a little bit biased. But aside from that, he's done a huge amount in that state with not a huge amount of help from Republicans. Like, he's done all of this with a 1-seat majority. And I think I became aware of Tim Walz about a year ago, I want to say. Probably a year ago. Shout out to Kyle Kulinski over in Secular Talk. I follow him. He was the one that put the list together, but he was the one who made me aware of Tim Walz as a governor back then. And basically, like, his list of accomplishments, really progressive, really amazing stuff. He did free school meals for all the kids. He did, carbon-free electricity by the year 2040. I think free public college if you make less than $80,000 a year. $1,300 tax rebate if you make less than $150,000 a year. He banned conversion therapy, banned forever chemicals. I'm probably missing a couple of things. A ton of really good stuff in the state. And so, like, his accomplishments as governor have been immense. But the thing that I appreciate even more, because most people don't pay attention to policy, is his vibes. And let's be real, vibes are friggin' everything in elections. It's the only reason that everybody still sticks with Donald Trump, is because the MAGA voters just like vibes. So let's just vibes and political chops for a second with Tim Walz. He's been going on the mainstream media and doing his rounds, and he's just like, he kills it. He's really good. He's a fantastic communicator, but the thing I appreciate the most about him is he's unapologetic about his positions, right? So I can't remember, he went on like CNN or wherever it was, and somebody questioned about, like, well, what's going to happen if they throw back this, this super progressive agenda that you got through in Minnesota? And his response was, oh yeah, okay, yeah, so they're going to come after me for, like, making sure the kids are fed at school and they have full bellies while they're trying to learn. I welcome that. Go for it, right? Which is the correct thing to to do, right, is to just like slap down that ridiculous right-wing framing and reframe the issue of like, I fed kids. What's there to be against, right? Like, what are you talking about? And that is one of the main reasons that I think Kamala Harris should definitely pick Tim Walz, is because she needs somebody like that on the ticket and to help kind of, guide and shape policy. Because if Tim Walz taught us anything from what he was able to do with the one-seat majority in Minnesota, is that good things are possible if you actually stand for those positions and you actually try, okay? So Kamala Harris famously was like, oh yeah, I'm for Medicare for all, and then she moonwalked away from that when she realized that in 2020 Bernie Sanders had pretty much had that lane locked up. Elizabeth Warren, a couple of other people that were jumping on that. But, stand for what you want and say it with your chest. And so I think that kind of thing would really, really help Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket. And also Tim Walz, if he was the one debating JD Vance, he would mop the floor with that dweeb. I mean, he would annihilate him. So I would really love to see that debate. So Tim Walz, a lot of really good things going for him. Most of the people that are in progressive circles know who Tim Walz is and know that he's the best pick. Now, what he's got going against him, Minnesota isn't exactly a swing state. It's a Midwest state, which is good. It's close to swing states, which is good. But it's not a state that the Democrats are like desperately trying to win. Okay? And then the other thing is just as far as appearances go, Walz looks much older than he actually is. Okay? And so I think Tim Walz is like 59 or 60. He's like the same age as Kamala Harris, which is good because that means that he's at least 20 years younger than Joe Biden and, almost 20 years younger than Donald Trump, which is a good thing because that was the main reason why people didn't want Joe Biden to run a second term, because they didn't think he'd be able to finish a second term. But he appears to be older than that, and so, I mean, like, I don't really care. I mean, like, I would vote for Bernie's corpse for president. So, like, the age isn't the thing. But as far as we're looking at, like, optics and appearance, which is super important to people, I don't know if that would necessarily hurt him. So that's the good and the bad on Tim Walz. Now, we got to talk about Josh Shapiro as well. Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, he's been pretty popular there as far as I know. I know less about Josh Shapiro, but from what I've read, he's a popular guy, economic populist, so he's got a pretty good record as far as I know. He's from a swing state that the Democrats definitely do want to win. And so, like, if you pick a governor from a state like Pennsylvania that you really want to win, a swing state, and that governor is popular in Pennsylvania, definitely helps out the ticket. And so I would say that that's a good thing for Josh Shapiro. Now, I want to talk about the things that are maybe negative. First of all, I read somewhere he had like some sexual harassment deal with one of the staffers in his campaign. Not like that directly involves Josh Shapiro, but from what I was reading, it took him a while to like let him go or whatever. And also just don't give the Republicans any kind of ammunition whatsoever. Like, it doesn't matter to them that, that Trump has been credibly accused of sexual assault like over 20 times or something like that. If they have this issue, they will latch onto it and try and neutralize the whole argument that Trump is a serial sexual abuser or whatever. So that's one thing. I've also read that Shapiro is like pro charter school, not fantastic. Pro fracking, definitely not fantastic, although not surprising being from a state like Pennsylvania. And also very pro-Israel, which, I mean, like, it's never hurt. It's not like it's ever hurt a politician to be pro-Israel, except in this time right now, the people who you really, really want to get on your side to vote for you are young people, and young people are far and away the most outspokenly against what's going on in Gaza right now. And you don't need that kind of person on the ticket. Like, what do they add? Okay? Like, if anything, you need somebody who is like, yeah, no, I think we should stop arming and funding Israel. That might not be something that would go over well with the donors, but oh my god, there's a guy with a motorcycle helmet, and it's like a yellow motorcycle helmet and a yellow Pikachu, like a yellow bike and a yellow Pikachu. I don't know if I can actually get him in. Anyway, sorry, that was funny and distracting. But yeah, I don't see how having somebody who's pro-Israel on the ticket really helps. I can't see that doing anything but hurting you with young people and hurting you in a state like Michigan, where there's a very large Muslim population that you also really, really, really need to win. So who do I think that they'll actually pick? If you had to if you held a gun to my head and said, who's the VP going to be? Choose, and I had to put money on it, probably Josh Shapiro, if I'm honest. And I say that for a couple of reasons. One, he's a younger guy. I think he's like 50 or 51. He's from a swing state that the Democrats definitely want to win. So on those two things alone, they will want somebody like Josh Shapiro. That's what makes him very attractive to the Democrats. He's popular in that state, but at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is the Democrats have never failed to disappoint me. So, I mean, like, if I had to guess, yeah, they'll probably pick Josh Shapiro. No, I mean, like, again, can't be any worse than JD Vance. But if you had to go with the best person, who I think would be the best, who would bring the most voters to you, and who I think is the best at not just getting policy through, like progressive policy through, but also at communicating and messaging and staying in the correct frame while you're talking to somebody. You know, not like backing down from a position, but reframing the issue and being like, yeah, I want carbon-free electricity by 2040. You're against renewable energy, right? Like, just putting whoever questions you on their back foot as opposed to, like, playing defense. Which I guess kind of rounds out the whole why I think Tim Walz would be better, is because, like, I'm not saying Josh Shapiro couldn't do that, but I think that if they brought up any of the things that I mentioned, it puts Democrats more on the defense, which you don't want. Right now, Kamala Harris is surging in the polls. You want to be on the offense. You want to ride that momentum. I think she should pick Tim Walz. We'll see what happens, hopefully by tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching me babble. Let me know who you think the Harris campaign is going to end up picking for VP. And make sure to like and subscribe. Trying to get this little baby channel off the ground, and you guys hitting those little buttons definitely helps out in the algorithm, pushes the videos out to more people, and it's completely free and it means the world to me. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.